Many thanks for staying with us on the program. It's a special edition of Politics Today on Channels Television, and we're looking at the 1 year in office of President Muhammadu Buhari. You can go and join the conversation on Twitter, #Buhari365days, and you get your comments and your opinions scrolling on the screen. And of course, you can participate in our polls. Ready Buhari administration, call this number 0144064666 to vote, or go to our website www.channelstv.com. We've been talking about security now, and my panelists have been talking about this matter. Mr. Additional, a lot of the issues on the minds of many Nigerians, one of which is the issue of the herdsmen. And where some people are saying they're from Libya, some people are saying from neighboring countries. But it bothers the mind how these people have penetrated into our region so much that they wake up at night and they start attacking our own people.
Yes, it bothers everyone. And it bothers the president so much that he has directed all the security agencies to also look into the matter. Just 2-3 days ago, when he granted interviews to some newspapers, he mentioned that the border with our northern neighbors is 1,500 kilometers, which we can't man, which we can't police effectively. And that during the 42-year reign of Gaddafi in Libya, what he did was to train so many militants whom he used to stabilize his government. And after that government fell, those people were expelled from Libya. They're everywhere now. Mali, Burkina Faso, everywhere. It's not likely.
So we have this intelligence or this information.
Let me finish. It's not unlikely that some of them came into the country through the 1,500-kilometer border that we can't man or police. It's not unlikely. But the challenge the president has given the Inspector General of Police particularly is that get some of these herdsmen so that we can profile them properly. Let's know whether they are Nigerians or foreigners. But by and large, it is a question of criminality. Anybody that does that, whether he's Fulani from Nigeria, whether he's a militant from the Sahel region, whether he's a former Gaddafi fighter, it is criminality. And the government is determined to deal with that matter.
Many Nigerians perhaps are expecting more from the president as regarding this. Why is it that he doesn't want to really speak about this, or is this strategy that he's not speaking?
It's a typical Nigerian problem, because Nigeria, there's so much suspicion, there's so many allegations everywhere.
Typical Nigerian problem to expect the president to address these issues?
Can you listen?
No, I'm just asking. I mean, so I don't
if you come so aggressively, you won't get what you want to get out of me.
Go ahead.
Okay, great. Now, typical Nigerian problem to suspect anybody that is outside your ethnic group. Now, because the president is Fulani, what we hear is, oh, he is not tackling this issue because he is Fulani too. Somebody has even said, oh, he himself has herds of cattle. So, what has that got to do with criminality? The simple issue is that the Fulani herdsmen attack is criminality, and the president is bothered about it. When the Agatu massacre happened, the president was on the phone almost every day with Governor Otom of Benue State. When Nimbo massacre happened in Enugu State, the president was on top of the matter. The very next day, the governor of Enugu State, Governor Gwai, was at the presidential villa to meet with the president on it. So anybody that says the president doesn't seem to be rising up to the issue because he's Fulani is just simply be mischievous.
All right, quickly. There is E.A. Jonathan, who is from Benue State, and she runs an NGO. And in that NGO, you visited, and I know you visited Benue State and some of the affected areas in these attacks by herdsmen. What have you found out, and what comes to your mind in this area?
I think, thank you very much. These things did not start today. 2014, early 2014, there were reports of this happening, of attacks going on in Benue, where people were coming in, herdsmen or perpetrated herdsmen, coming in and clearing out whole communities. And there was almost, it seemed, full-scale guerrilla warfare going on in Benue. This is documented in the press, in media. We went in to even look at what was going on in the displacement situation. That's one thing that is very underreported and underrepresented across Nigeria's media. The issue of IDPs or internally displaced persons from even herdsmen attacks is huge in Taraba. We went to Taraba as well. It's huge in Benue, it's huge in Plateau. We've been to Plateau as well. And we see this sweeping across North Central. Now back to the issue of the security, back to the issue of these herdsmen. What we found 2 years ago, when we interviewed those who had been in those communities, they would say, these are not normal Fulani. Some of them come, but they bring in some of the pictures we saw, purportedly, of those that had been apprehended back in 2014. These people did not look like Nigerians, some of them. Some of them looked Nigerian, but you know you have a sort of Malian look, a Nigerian look. So we had some of those situations. But the question that comes back and constantly comes back is one, do we move fast enough? Because as far as the people in the communities are concerned, I understand when Mr. Adesina says typical Nigerian. But if I'm sitting in my village, at one point we even had to think about moving some of our families out of Makudi because there were IDPs streaming into Makudi and people were being attacked around the communities in Makudi.
Let me quickly, just if I may pause you there. Mokhtar too also has a lot of interest in security. That's correct. And I've heard and seen some of your interventions in this regard. What comes to your mind? You have any questions for Mr. Adesina?
My question is about the Niger Delta, not about the Agato situation. So if you want me to ask that, I will.
Quickly, go ahead.
So, Mr. Adesina, my question is this. Is the president allergic to the South-South and the Southeast? Are the presidential jets unable to fly there? Or what's really going on? And I ask because he's made over 20 trips outside the borders of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. He's yet to make a single one to the states in those zones. Unfortunately, during a summit in Washington, D.C., he made a comment about 97% versus 5%. I understood what he meant. I don't think he meant what people claim he meant, which is he's going to victimize people in those zones. Let's be clear. But unfortunately, that's the perception in those areas. I would think, as a parent, for example, that when my son wants my attention, the best thing I can do is give him that attention so he doesn't act up. Now, the children of the South-South and the Southeast are the president's children, as are the people of the Northeast, North Central, Northwest. Why hasn't the president taken his time to go there and make people feel like they are stakeholders in the Nigeria project?
Let me allow Mr. Adesina to quickly come in before.
On June 2nd, a few days hence, the president is going to be in Ogoni. And what will he be doing there? To flag off the cleanup of Ogoni. Ogoni is part of the Niger Delta. So I think that answers
That's the first step, so that's commendable.
All right.
What I'm saying in the past, though.
Okay. Jide, there are some facts that you have, of course, about this matter.
I think we also need to consider how the president has communicated his security plans. And the evidence shows that there's still a lot of room for the president to improve on how he even communicates security. In the build-up to the elections that brought him in, the president had communicated clearly through his online account at Buhari. In simple terms, he had tweeted 1,608 times in the build-up to the elections. What that means is he was tweeting at an average of 10 tweets a day. Today, the president is moving at only an average of 1 tweet in 5 days.